This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library
enough, you can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price that you can get Truefire All Access for.
Hey, so here's something I was really excited to try. I got a message from Sire. This is a sponsored video, and although these boxes are labelled as samples, and this is YouTube on top of them, based on the sparkle that I opened earlier in the week, I don't think they're doing sort of much extra sort of work. I think they're just picking these off of the, that's the sense that I get, picking these off the line, and yeah. Because it wasn't like that was a totally spotless guitar.
Ordinarily, as well, someone buying one of these from a shop, you wouldn't have a case. Aside from that, this is basically what you would get if you were to buy these. They'd just be coming in the box. Right, so here is my first look at the new gen. Now that is an absolutely bonkers looking guitar again. I kind of like what Sire are doing with these. You know, these are the first designs still, more or less. But, you know, now going a little bit overboard in terms of something different. So this, they called a Skyburst. Maybe I'd call it Mermaid Sparkle. I'll go and see what Elodie thinks of this. She's into mermaids. Right, so what we have here. First of all, now we have actually, well, this is actually amazing looking. We've got flame maple here. They sort of look a bit more like luminlay dots. We've got the classic suhr style neck join and all access. And body carve, so it's more of like a suhr than a Fender style. The neck feels really comfortable. It's got an amazing looking finish, and on top of all that, we now have stainless steel frets. is also very important. How does it actually play? So these are now about £600. If it wasn't for artist guitars, we'd be saying, well, this is a hell of a lot of guitar for the money. I do still think it is a hell of a lot of specs for the money. How does it play? So it's arrived in tune. Pretty much. I have to say that it's very impressive. Just stretch the strings out a bit more. Compensated bridge, also locking tuners, a flame maple kind of neck. It's very smooth feeling. The neck, as always with Sire, has a great sort of comfy feel to it. There's a bit of a taper where the fret ends are rolled. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to do a bit of an intro playing it and come back with my opinions and close-ups. Okay, so I think this guitar might need a little bit of time to get settled. It, I think, looks amazing. I like that it's a less roasted maple, nice flamey piece of wood. In terms of aesthetics, I think it really is quite eye-catching, comfortable. At the moment, the frets feel way smoother than the Ibanez AZ Standard that I reviewed earlier in the year. But this, because of the beveling again, if you're not careful with that E, that is an area where you need to sort of play with a bit of care. Otherwise, you're at risk of pulling the E off due to the bevel. That's kind of a down to preference thing. You know, some players prefer a fret to have as much sort of material as possible close to the edge rather than beveling it off. And I think this E is intonating a little sharp, so I would need to adjust that, but I don't like to do those kind of things before making the video, just so you know what it's actually like out of the box. On the back end, things start to look even better, I think, where you get a bit of flame creeping along here. That's a really nice piece of wood. Locking tuners. Let's see, what can I show you fret wise? This here might be the sloppiest part, if there is. Any at all, but in general, good, clean, solid guitar. If it weren't for some of the more players that have come in recently, you'd be thinking this is super impressive. It's just quite competitive now, right? For me, the highlight of the instrument, this finish, which I think looks pretty incredible. I'm not sure how it's going to show up on camera. You can see chunky, consistent sparkles. If you're into that sort of thing, I'll find out what my daughter thinks. Then, just look kind of lumen lay-ish. Fretwork generally tidy. There's a few tooling marks around this bit here. I'll get some pictures of that. Nice piece of maple used. Just general good, pretty clean work.